Hello and welcome to section 20 of the Grand Tour of Northumberland. We're back at Kielder today, and today's mostly going to be about bastles, so join us for section 20.
Digging through a closet, walled cities, past lives in boxes. Music absorbed till it's seeped from my skin. Can't stand to hear it. Means more to me than photographs. Pictures of backyard and northern sunsets are all that exist in my mind. Freshly cut lawns and daytime sprinklers, spider webs on a grey wooden fence. I remember the comedian.
It's a lot different today than it was last time. Beautiful. It's a nice crisp -4 today. This year's the commemorative plaque for the opening of Kielder Water by the Queen on the 26th of May 1982. Kielder Dam is the site of England's largest hydroelectric plant. It consists of dual turbines producing on average 20,000 megawatts of electricity per year, enough to power 4,500 homes. At full capacity, it can power the town of Hexham. I had wanted to go down that way, but unfortunately there's no public access. So we'll just have to go back the way that we came to the Kielder Dam in the first place, from Fallstone. So we've not actually been out for 3 months. The last time we were out was end of August, beginning of September, on section 19. But the reason why we haven't been out for so long is because my daughter has been training really hard for a black belt and she finally got it, so I'm really proud of her. So once again we're following the River Tyne trail. It's also the Reiver cycle route. We're heading in this direction. On section 17 we came along here. So we're backtracking a little bit on section 17, but we'll be leaving the trails and going our own way. This here is Hawkhope. It was originally the site of a 3-storey peel tower, probably dating from the 16th century. It was altered into a farmhouse in the 18th century, and some of its walls from the original tower are between 1.4 and 1.6 metres thick. This here is the North Tyne. We'll soon be leaving this and heading towards the Cheviots. This here is the United Reformed Church in association with the Methodist Church. It was built in 1807. It was originally the Fallstone Presbyterian Church. The tower was built in 1876. Well, the plaque says 1709, so I'm not sure if it was an earlier church here. inside. Kitchen. (1837 to 1897). Erected by subscription. And we're back at the Blackcock Inn. Last time we were here we were refused service, so we had to go to the Cheviot Hotel in Belgium instead. I have no idea why they refused us, but never mind. Behind the Blackcock Inn is St Peter's Church. It was originally built around 1824 for the cost of £1,040 on the site of an older chapel. However, two fires in the late 19th century resulted in the church being rebuilt in 1892. This is inside. In front of St Peter's Church is located Fallstone Farm. This was the original site of a bastle built in 1604. Considerable alterations were made in the 19th century. The bastle, despite being 2 stories, was unusually tall and sometimes mistaken for a peel tower. The difference between a peel tower and a bastle is that a peel tower was 3 or more stories high, while a bastle was only 2 stories high. So as we leave Fallstone, we go back underneath the bridge that carried the North Tyne line, which is now disused. Bit of an echo. This is the old Fallstone station from the old railway line that used to run at the front of it. So up to now we've been doubling back on ourselves from section 17. This is where we leave the River Tyne trail and head up the Tarset Valley, which is up that way. There's the Daft as a Brush River trail, goes that way. And we're heading this way, which is the Reiver's off-road cycle route. We've picked the right day to come here. It's all frozen. Had it been not frozen, it would have been muddy as hell. Hey. Okay, when you get to this signpost, we're not going that way. We actually go down a little bit and then we head this way. Okay, just a short distance away from that first signpost there's a second signpost, and we go in this direction. This is when things start getting a bit tough. We're going to go over a lot of rough ground now. And the signpost says Sidwood, 1.5 miles. There's a path of sorts, but it's very overgrown. This grass is above my waist, now 6 foot. If you come here in the summer, you'll have to do lots of tick checks. There's a couple of people on top of that hill over there. That's the first people we've seen. Surprised to see anyone here, to be honest. Definitely don't want to do this section in the wet. Wait for it to be either a drought or frozen like today. The grass is taller than my daughter. It's nearly as tall as me in part. Those two lads were going to a boffy. I'm not exactly sure which boffy is over there, like. I'll have to have a look it up on the map. We're going this way though. Still a path that can be seen. Just. They came cross country over there. When we get to here, the wall goes in that direction. But we're going into the forest. Once you get into the wood, the path's actually really clear. My worst fears are unfounded. Over there's the Tarset Valley, which is where we're headed. Beautiful here, very quiet. Just listen. Once you cross the forest road, the second part of the forest path is quite tough going. It's very, very boggy if it wasn't frozen. Yeah, well, unless it's a drought. Do this if it's a drought, but not if it's wet. Definitely don't do this one when it's wet. It's a very beautiful walk, but very, very boggy. Oh, there's a lot of heather bashing involved in that path. And we head into the woods here. There's a clear path there. This is a very good path, but I would do it in the winter. That was quite overgrown there. If it had been in the summer, it might have been quite difficult. And eventually we come out at Sidwood, which is here. And here we join the Tarset Bastle trail, which I've already done a video of. But we'll do it again as part of the grand tour. There's the Tarset Bastle trail. And we are here. We're going to follow the trail up, all the way up to Boghead, and then back down the other way to Black Middens, where we finished the walk. The Tarset Bastle trail is well signposted, and first we're going to the Iron Age settlement, which is in this direction. Caution, deep water. It's all frozen. I wouldn't want to stand on it. This isn't that thick. Still pretty cool. This here is Sidwood Iron Age settlement. There's the mighty oak tree. Very nice. There's actually an outer wall here, but you'll not be able to pick it up on the camera. A circular wall. They found some Roman remains here, so they know that it was occupied when the Romans were here. Romano-British. Although we're parked at Black Middens, first of all we're going to go to Hill House Waterhead, which is this direction. This river here is the River Tarset. It eventually flows into the Tyne. Remember, we did Tarset Castle in section 17, I believe. This mound here is the site of Hill House. It was also known as Wood House and possibly Hoff Hill House. Dates from the 16th century. It's an old bastle. It was used to defend the farm from reivers. There you go, you see it there. There are other field boundaries as well that you can see on the ground over there. We cannot pick them up on the camera. This is the first of the bastles on the Bastle Trail that we come across. Most of the bastles were occupied by the Dodds and the Milburns. However, there were also Robsons and Charltons in the valley. Frost hasn't lifted all day. This vicinity was once the site of another bastle called Waterhead Bastle that existed in the 16th century. The current cottage is built on the site of a 19th century farm labourer's cottage that was still occupied in 1851. As I said, it's well signposted. Not getting lost on this one. Behind me is Head Bastle, also known as Story Head or Stairhead. It's a lot more substantial than the other ones that we've seen so far. The walls were 1.4 to 1.6 metres thick. It's very overgrown inside, so I can't take you any further than here. You can see some decent sized walls. We're beginning to lose the light, and we've still got one more bastle to do. Boghead. This here is the site of Boghead Bastle, also known as Corbetts Castle. It was the home of Jack Corbett, the Northumberland legend. This is the best preserved bastle so far. There used to be a vaulted ceiling here. The doorway is very cool. Cold's eating the batteries of my camera. You can still see there where the bars used to go to block the door. Up above there's a slit in the ground, in the wall, and there's some holes here as well. That's where they used to pour water when the Reivers used to set the doors on fire, so you could put the fires out. This is the site of a Northumberland legend that I've already told twice before. As we're losing the light, what I'll do is I'll clip in some bits about the legend instead of telling you it here now. One day some Scots reaved Jack Corbett's sheep, so he sought help from his friend Barty Milburn, who had a reputation of being a local hard man. Together they set off in pursuit of the Reivers, but lost their trail. On the way back they decided to replace Jack's losses by reaving some sheep from Leitham, which is not too far from Carter Bar on the Scottish border. On the way back they stopped at the Girdlestone near Chattelhope Spout. Meanwhile, Sandy and Bonnie Douglas, two brothers who also had a reputation for being hard men, had set off in pursuit of Jack and Barty to retrieve the Leitham sheep. They caught up at the Girdlestone where a fight ensued. Barty was stabbed in the thigh, but the Scot that did it lost his blade in the action. Meanwhile, the other Scot, having killed Corbett Jack, tried to stab Barty in the back. Barty lashed out with his blade in a wide arc and cut the Scot's head clean off. Before the other Douglas could flee, he cut him down too. Then with a wounded leg, he carried Corbett Jack home along with the sheep that he had just reaved. Headbusters over there, Corbetts Castle, and this here are old farm buildings from the 18th century. What happened was that the bastles were eventually abandoned once there was peace between Scotland and England, and they built more practical farm buildings instead, using the stone from the tops of the bastles. We've lost the light, the sun's gone down behind the hills, the moon's out. Behind me is Coombe Fob. There's a site of Coombe Bastle. It's where Barty Milburn used to live. And finally we come to Black Middens Bastle, which we'll do at the start of the next walk. And this marks the end of section 20. We'll do a summary in the pub.
We've got an best which you keep on all the time.
So we've decided to finish off in the car because the pub was a little bit too busy. So Neil, how did you find that walk?
Oh my god, that was cold. Don't come out to Kielder in winter because you'll freeze your butt off. My fingers have just defrosted. It was a decent walk, but cold. But the strange thing is, I wouldn't recommend it in the summer either, because what we had to do is come through a forest, which would in the summertime would have been like tick infested. So we came the best time, and it was really beautiful to look at. But yeah, bring your thermals on this one. And we did stop at the pub in the end for a pint of beer, and had a roaring fire, and that was just gorgeous. That was bliss. But yeah, it was. How do I, if I rate this one, 6, 7. First bit not so interesting, and then but going into the woods and leading up to the woods was great, and towards the end was pretty good. And obviously, if you can get there on time and it's not too crowded, the pub would be good as well. So yeah, I think I'd give it a 6 or a 7 on this one.
Yes, I would agree with Neil. Do this one on a nice cold frosty morning, because it was very muddy if it hadn't been frosty.
Definitely don't do it in the rain.
Yeah, definitely don't do it in the rain. And as Neil said, if you do this one in the summer during a drought, then that would be okay, but beware that you're going to probably pick up a lot of ticks, because we're going through the woods and there's a lot of deer. Yeah. So I actually enjoyed this walk. It was very good. I mean, the scenery was really good. The bastles were quite good, but I've done the Bastle Trail before. I'll put a link below, and you can see when I did it last time in the summer.
think we were out of shape a little bit because it's been what? The last one we did, section 19, was 2-3 months ago.
Yeah,
We've had a lot of beer and pizza since then. So, like, it's hard to get into it now. It's
get back in shape again.
Yeah, I found it wasn't strenuous, but I did find it a little bit tough, out of breath at times. So don't stop walking. That's the main takeaway, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just keep the momentum going.
So, Donna,
Frost,
did you
frost,
think of
and
that
more
one?
frost.
what was that?
Frost, frost, and more frost.
Did you enjoy the walk, though?
Yeah,
Was it good?
yeah, but it was cold.
Right.
How many stars would you give out of 10?
8.
Oh,
That's a good one.
that is good. I like it.
So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment below and hit the subscribe button for the next adventure and share with your friends on social media, and we'll catch you on the next one, which will probably be in the new year.
Bye.
Pictures of backyard and northern sunsets are all that exist.